might see Leah Chase up there.
Oh, Leah Chase, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how I could forget Miss Leah. Oh my gosh.
Probably 2,000-3,000 people there, standing room only.
Thanks for having me for a second time already.
Addis Nola!
Addis Nola!
Woo!
From the LOVE NOLA TV Studio on New Orleans' beautiful St. Charles Avenue, this is the Mark Romig Show. Today's guests, Sports Director of WDSU covering the Winter Olympics, Fletcher Mackel. Chef and restaurateur, Prince Lobo. Former Major Leaguer and General Manager of UNO Baseball, Johnny Giavotella. And chef, restaurateur, and media personality, Aarón Sánchez.
And now, your host, Mark Romig.
Welcome, everyone, to the Mark Romig Show. Thank you for watching our full episodes on YouTube. If you love New Orleans like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications for all of our weekly episodes. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon Music, and get clips on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm looking forward to today's episode. Two local chefs, Prince Lobo and Aarón Sánchez, talking with us about their corners of New Orleans restaurant world. Fletcher Mackel returns to the show for the second time, all the way from Milan. He's been there wrapping up the coverage of Winter Olympics. And a new season of college baseball has begun. Former Major Leaguer Johnny Giavotella is joining us in studio to talk about UNO baseball. All right, guys. I just have to say, you probably hear it in my voice. I am now going through the official crud that a lot of people go through after Mardi Gras, so that's why I'm more of a baritone today. But it didn't keep me from watching the Olympics, and I got to ask the team here, did you see the Olympics? Did you see any of it? That's a silly question. Of course you did. Men's hockey, women's hockey. Jordan, Pooch, Cal, what did you see? What did you like?
That overtime win in hockey, it was incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Go USA.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, I never got more into curling than I did this season.
Can you explain it to me?
Some brooms and a rock. That's pretty much all I got out of it. But I was really intrigued by all the controversy. And
did he touch it?
From what I saw,
Did
he
touched
touched
the rock?
Yes.
And
he touched the rock.
He said a lot of expletives.
They were jarring back and forth. I thought
which
maybe
is
they were going to come
kosher
across
in
the ice and go at
curling
it.
world. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Curling brought a whole new meaning to trying to understand sport.
Yeah.
Jordan.
I definitely want to try to pick up curling myself if I can. I think
Not in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I don't know where you're going to do that.
Top of a bar, wet.
Oh, you know
bar.
what? That's true. That's
Seen
true.
some good bartenders around here pull it off.
Slide the beer, then slide the rock.
Like a training montage.
It was, just everything looked fantastic, and of course we had Fletcher Mackel was there for 24 days, and I was jealous the whole time. It looked fantastic on TV.
I think we're all jealous of him. Yeah.
I know he's become the Olympics guy. Yeah.
I think
really
the
good.
U.S. was second overall in medals as well.
Yeah, to Norway. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Norway
the
was
most
first.
we've won at a Winter Olympics, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Alyssa Leo with the gold medal in the free
Yeah.
skate and figure skating.
Just fantastic.
That was
Just
beautiful.
Some great stories always come out of the Olympics, and some reasons to now travel to a new destination. It looks
That's right.
fantastic.
I wish I was in Milan.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Olympics, we are going to be going to Fletcher, who is calling in from Milan. So we're going to be able to chat with him to see how he's doing.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Move the chains!
All right. We are so pleased to go all the way to Milan to see Fletcher Mackel. Fletcher, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here. Mark, I've been telling everybody this. They sent me to cover the Winter Olympics. It's 60 and sunny here. I brought all these puffy coats and these boots like I was going, to the snow and the ice. And the weather has literally been warmer here in Milan more days than it has been in New Orleans. It's colder in New Orleans today, I think, than it is here in Milan, 60 and sunny. But it was just it was one of those amazing once-in-a-lifetime experiences to be here. I got to cover the summer games in Paris and truly honored and fortunate to cover the winter games here. And, Milan is an amazing city.
Well, I got to start by talking about Paris. And I know you had an adventure in Paris when you got there. You did not arrive with your clothes. And here you are in Milan, the fashion capital, presumably of the world. And how did you do this time around?
Bags made it this time, but I'll say this, the Patagonia that I'm wearing right now, I stick out as the American. This is a very fashionable place. A lot of black, a lot of sleek outfits, a lot of fancy shoes, a lot of uber stylish people, if you will. So I've tried to wear a lot of black to fit in, but like the Patagonia here, it screams American tourist.
Well, that's why I wore the tie for you. I wanted to be at least somewhat fashionable since I was, we were broadcasting all the way to Milan. And I know you come back later this week, and you'll be in New Orleans back on the air for the month of March. But it's so exciting to have watched your reporting. You saw so much. What are the highlights of the games for you?
So the highlight to me was I was embedded a lot with the women's hockey team. I went to all their games. I was there when they won gold. It was really just an emotional moment because they were down for so long in that game. They tie it at the end. They win it in overtime. And they were really just engaging. Hillary Knight said that they're America's team. And I think that a lot of people have an affinity for what they were able to do. Young players, old players, or veteran players, not old players. But that was really fantastic to cover. I only covered one men's hockey game. All the NHL stars, obviously, that was amazing because so many nations here. It's the best of the best. It reminded me a lot of the basketball in Paris that I covered with all the NBA players. But I was there when Jordan Stolz won his 2 gold medals in speed skating. I was there when Madison Chock and Evan Bates and Alyssa Liu and Amber Glenn won team gold at the figure skating. So those are probably the highlights. The team figure skating, Jordan Stolz in speed skating, and then the women's hockey. I did have a chance to go to Livigno for some of the aerials and met some of the American skiers there, that won aerials and delivered yet another gold medal. Realize this is the most gold medals that Team USA has ever won at the Winter Olympics. Prior to this, it was 10 gold medals at the 2002 games in Salt Lake City. They won 12 gold medals here in Milan. That's the most gold for Team USA at the Winter Games. And I was fortunate enough to be there for a lot of it. It was great. Also, too, just for your viewers, just the perspective, these were the most unique games in the history of the Winter Olympics. It was all northern Italy. It says Milan Cortina, but 6 different cities hosted events. They wanted 6 cities to experience the tourism, the economic boom that went with this. So there were some complications if you were a fan or media, because like from Milan to Cortina, it's 6.5 hours. That's like going from New Orleans to Atlanta. So, the distance, us to get to Livigno, it's 5 hours. So that's New Orleans to Houston. So I think people don't realize the scope of these games or all of northern Italy, but every place we went to was breathtaking, and the Italians were fantastic to deal with. Just the most engaging people that I have ever been around.
Tell us about the closing games, the closing
Yeah,
ceremonies.
beautiful. I mean, look, in Verona last night, you're talking about an arena that was built in 30 AD. That is one of the most famous opera venues in the world, where they have a tremendous opera festival every year. And I think the Italians really leaned into their culture, that you saw the art in the opera and the pageantry of it. And that's great. They should celebrate their culture. And so I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah. So again,
is it fair to compare what New Orleans does for a Super Bowl to what you saw last evening and throughout the days that you've been there?
That's a great question. And I know that you are at the tip of the spear and have been at the tip of the spear for bringing those events. What I would tell everybody is it is almost identical to the way our city functions for Super Bowl, like travel, security, the hotels, the restaurants, the culture on display. Except here's the thing. It's 17 nonstop days of that. It's Super Bowl Sunday for 17 days. The events start here in Milan at 8 a.m. and the last events go off every night at 9 p.m. So it goes every day for about 12 hours nonstop. So what I would say is it's Super Bowl in New Orleans or Super Bowl, day in New Orleans for 17 days here. And the same thing in Paris. That's what blew me away in Paris and here in Milan is it does. That's a great comparison and a great parallel. Super Bowl Sunday or the Super Bowl Saturday and Sunday in New Orleans, except for 17 straight days.
Fantastic. Well, you know, we obviously look forward to having another one of those Super Bowls here in the city of New Orleans. You cover those so well. You know, while you were gone, we had a couple of great, exciting parades. We had Tyler Shuck in Pygmalion. Drew Brees rode in Bacchus. We had Coach Kiffin was Grand Marshal, co-Grand Marshal with Arthur Hardy and Endymion. Mardi Gras went very well here in the city of New Orleans, and that cultural aspect of our city, I'm sure you saw throughout the cultural aspects of Milan and Cortina and all of Italy.
If I could follow up quickly, Mark, I was not in a cave. I was just in Milan, so my social media feed was all Mardi Gras. And I think you'll be happy to know that as people heard the Mardi Gras music, like the meters and stuff blaring off my phone, I think I may have helped tourism here, because in the media center, I was showing everybody Mardi Gras stuff, Mardi Gras partying, Mardi Gras bands, Mardi Gras happenings. So I think in some small way, while I was loving Milan and being here, I was pushing New Orleans consciously or subconsciously onto everyone.
Well, I will report back to Walt Leger III and let him know that you were a good representative of New Orleans and Company and all the great work that they do with international tourism. Fletch, listen, we can't wait to see you back here in person. I think I sent you my sized jacket and for that suit that I'm looking to have, made in Milan. So I'm looking forward to wearing that. Hey, have a great trip back. Be safe in your travels. Have fun tonight. I know you got your team dinner with the group, and really appreciate you being our first international guest.
No, I appreciate being here anytime. Thank you for what you do, and the show's been great so far. Thanks for having me for a second time already.
No, man, you're a two-timer. Let's make it like that Saturday Night Live series where you can be, having a club.
5-timers club. Yep.
All right, buddy. Safe travels. We have talked about his restaurant, Addis Nola, a few times already on the show. Now let's talk to him about the Ethiopian food, about his neighborhood, the African influences in our Creole food, and just black-owned restaurants in the city, which you're one of the leaders of. And this, the segment is called It's on the Table, brought to you by Blue Runner Foods. Welcome, Prince. And I got to ask you, woo, Addis Nola, as someone who announces things, how did you come up with that?
Man, I think that one just came from the soul. You know what I mean? Even when you say
Would you do it, please?
You got Addis Nola. Woo!
Oh, man, that feels good.
You just feel it. It came from the soul. It actually came from COVID, right? Like a lot of interesting things came from COVID. A lot of, tough things came, but we were in the trenches, city shut down March 16th, unemployed, you know what I mean? Right before, not too long before that, I was a college dropout, mind you. So I did, we didn't have a lot. Like, and it was our first year in business. We had opened for a year, and one day I just woke up. I was like, we're not gonna be downtrodden. You know what I mean? We're not gonna let this stop us in our efforts to serve great food in New Orleans. So I literally ran out of the door. I took a video and I jumped on top of one of the benches outside and I yelled at every single person, "I love you! I love you!" Woo! And they were like, "What the heck is going on with him?" But it stuck. And I posted the video and it kind of went viral. And I just literally every single day we decided to keep our doors open. We would deliver the food directly to people's houses. And that's kind of what helped us build our business in the restaurant. The restaurant's name is just by bringing the energy. You know what I mean? That's it. Comes from the soul, from the heart.
Addis Nola, baby. And now, Michelin Guide.
Come on.
Tell me about it.
Crazy. Man, so I looked at the guide, and I found out that there are other Ethiopian restaurants on the guide. There's only 6 in the entire planet that have been recommended or rated on the guide, which is a huge honor for us. Unexpected. We just have been putting in great hard work, effort, love. Ethiopian food, much like New Orleans food, it is a labor of love, man. Before you even think about coming to eat, we have already been preparing the food for 3 days, sometimes 4 to 5 days in advance.
Yeah.
It's like nothing else.
I've had the pleasure, but walk our viewers and listeners through the process. What is it like to go to Addis Nola? It's a communal experience, right?
100%. It's 100% a communal experience. So when we talk about Ethiopian food for context, we're talking about 1,000, 2,000 years of food and culture. We talk about New Orleans, 300 plus multiply that by almost 10, and then add those flavors. So think about these stews, these sauces, these slow-cooked communal dishes that are shared in a communal style around a large, big, beautiful plate. Dorawat, the national dish, 24-hour caramelized onion stew. That's one of my favorites. I'm eating that almost every other day right now. Goodness gracious.
Now, you can't eat everything. So if someone's coming there for the first time, what do they have to get? Because they're going to come back several times.
So don't eat breakfast.
Don't eat.
Skip lunch. Skip anything that you eat for the entire day, and come and get all your 3 meals at Addis Nola.
What's that one dish, though?
The one dish, it's tough right now. I'd have to say that.
It's like your favorite child, I know.
Right now, there's actually a dish at the restaurant that I'm banned from eating, even though we came up, obviously, I came up with the dish. I'm banned from eating this because whenever we added it to our menu, I would have 2 or 3 of them every single day.
Because there's nothing left for everybody else?
There's nothing left. I literally cleaned the kitchen of the whole fried red snapper.
Oh, okay, everybody, you heard that. Fried red snapper.
Fried red snapper. It's from the Gulf. In Ethiopia, it's actually a common dish to find tilapia or perch because we have the source of the Nile River. It's landlocked. We don't have access to great, fish besides like river fish. But in New Orleans, we have the Gulf, one of the greatest bodies of water.
So what's the prep?
So the prep is super, super, super simple. Let it dry age for a little bit, pat it dry, let it hang maybe a day or 2 so the outside can just have that really, really delicate and delicious fish flavor. Then we'll season it with secret ingredient, seafood boil. Nobody's supposed to know that. It has a nice little kick. That's the New Orleans part of it. And then berbere, which is a 15-spice blend from Ethiopia: cayenne, paprika, ginger, garlic, turmeric, allspice, fenugreek, cumin. That's like 10. I'm missing a couple spices. Yeah. And then a mitmita, which is like a bird's eye chili spice. So you're just getting so much flavor. And then we just fry it like 7 whole fry, head to tail. You know what I mean? And we want you to feel like you caught the fish yourself.
And there it comes
whenever
on
you eat
the
it,
platter.
Head to toe. Head to tail. There's just no toes on the fish. Head to tail.
Wow.
On the
and
platter.
then just eat as much as you can.
Injera, which is the traditional. Take what you can. I prefer people to eat that one. A lot of our food, it lends really nicely to take away, which is, I like it because you don't have to, you get it once and then you get to enjoy it for a nice bit of time. But that's one you got to sit down and just work on.
Great. Let's touch on pan-roasted coffee and what's that, honey wine?
Honey wine, the Princess Tej. Another great contribution from Ethiopia to the world, along with coffee. Honey wine is actually the first wine in the world. Before grapes, red or white grapes, bees were already making honey for a very long time. And so hives that would overfill with water, they would just ferment and turn into wine or alcohol. Any lucky traveler that came across a beehive that had already fermented, you're going to have a great walk home. You know what I mean? So you discovered the first alcoholic beverage that existed. So we make that ourselves. I've been doing it for almost 5 years. It is the thing that if you come to Addis Nola, you absolutely must have along with the snapper. And it makes just like, you have the sweetness of honey, you taste the flavor of honey, but it can be 13, 14 ABV. It can have a pretty high. So 1 or 2 glasses.
That's about it.
It's, I got to cut you off.
You've got a great bar scene too, which I've experienced.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your influencers, the people that have influenced your life, and you role model for many, but let's touch on a couple of those. Dakar, Serene.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, it's hard not to love Serene, to be honest. The guy he's done his paces. He's worked for everyone that you can think of. And to come back to New Orleans after traveling the world, I think that says a lot about New Orleans. It says a lot about how much he appreciates and loves and wants to contribute to the city. The moment he came back and I found out about him for the first time, for me, a lot of people had known about him from Commanders. He opened arms, whatever he knew, whatever I knew, we just shared off the bat, and he's really become like a really great brother to me.
Let's talk about Charlie Pierre.
Gosh, come on, man. These are killers in here, man.
I know, but
those guys are just amazing. Like Charlie,
this tight fraternity.
I spent a lot of Mardi Gras. I spent Mardi Gras Day with him actually, since he's right off of the route for Zulu on Basin. Charlie, one of the biggest hearts I've ever met in my life. Another one of those people, just open arms whenever we first started. just showed love. His journey has been incredible from St. Rock Market to where he is now. Yeah. You know, James Beard and whatnot, Top Chef. Like, these guys are literally superstars. And like I said, I'm just happy to call them friends. Yeah, free time.
Y'all are so positive. I mean, that's so wonderful. And then, of course, Lanyard Bakery, Caitlin.
Come on, man. You
I'm serious.
One after another.
I'm dropping names.
Dropping bombs in here. Nah, Caitlin, she is an actual, literal angel. I've never had anything from her that wasn't short of incredible.
They'd be saying the same thing about you, too. You know.
I hope so.
Because there's one more, Nina Compton.
And that's like, you know, the cherry on, that's the cake. Shoot, that's not the cherry on the cake, that's the cake. She was literally one of the first people, like, I remember cooking with her. Well, we did a collaboration for Black History Month almost 4 years ago now. And I've never been so inspired in my life to see someone with so much skill, so much talent, so much, and you know, she's having conversations, and we're butchering 15 lamb legs, and she's like not even looking at the sharpest knife, and I'm just like, Nina, slow down, please. I'm begging you. She's a beast, a force of nature. I just ate at her restaurant yesterday. Actually, we were at Compere Le Pere yesterday. I love her to death.
Who else are making great things around town?
Oh man, I feel like that's a lot of my people. We said Nina, we said Serene, we said Charlie.
So many students look up to you too that are coming into the world, the culinary world. I mean, you're a role model.
Oh,
you know, and you're going to be mentoring many more years ahead. I know that. Let's just say it one more time.
Woo! We gotta say it from the beginning. Addis Nola.
Addis Nola. Woo! Woo! Let's do it. All right. Thank you for being with us today.
On.
All right. Are you guys ready to work off all this food talk with a little college baseball? Let's do it. The new season has started, and we've got the general manager of UNO baseball to talk about it. This Jesuit Blue Jay and privateer was drafted in the second round to the Kansas City Royals and spent the better part of 7 seasons in the major leagues. He's now back at the lakefront at UNO as the general manager of baseball, Johnny Giovitella. Welcome, Johnny.
Mark, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you're able to take time because I know you were just getting into the season. And
for you, Mark, any time is accessible for me.
Well, UNO baseball just started. Got a new coach. What's the season look like?
Yeah, so we got a brand new coaching staff from head coaches from Bellhaven, guys named Andrew Gibson, who was at Southeastern as an assistant coach there under Matt Reiser for 7 years. Great baseball acumen, great leader of men. We're lucky to have him at the helm for UNO, and his coaching staff are equally as passionate. Very good people, good baseball men, and the future is bright at UNO.
That's great, you know, and we've got a lot of local rivalries. UNO is getting to play some other teams that people have a lot of affinity for instance, LSU, Tulane, University of Louisiana. What's it like to have all these in-state rivalries?
It's incredible. I mean, when I was in college, one of our fondest moments were playing LSU and Tulane and playing against guys that you grew up playing against, you know, playing in the Catholic League against, playing in the state championship game against, and you're playing at the next level in college against one another, and it's a fun atmosphere. A lot of people are interested in watching those games, and it's something that even though I made it to the big leagues, it's some of my favorite memories. We're playing against local colleges when I was here at UNO.
Yeah, you know, homegrown. I'm sure you have people coming up from the high schools here into the University of New Orleans ranks. That's got to be exciting too because they pull in all their families and friends in as.
Yeah, what's funny is that we went to 2 regionals when I was at UNO. The last time that's been done at UNO, it's been over 20 years now. So you know we need to get back on the helm soon. But the nucleus of players that was there that made us go were the local kids, the New Orleans gritty, tough-nosed ball players who had a good baseball background, who were taught the game the right way. And so that's what made us successful, and that's what we intend to blueprint our program around, to have their fans and friends come watch them play and put those great talented young men on the field.
All of them probably played at Kirsch Rooney at one time or another.
And if you could field balls at Kirsch Rooney, you could field ground balls anywhere.
I used to love to go to ball games at Kirsch Rooney.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great atmosphere. I remember playing Rommel there my senior year, and you know, there's probably 2,000 or 3,000 people there, standing room only, and unbelievable atmosphere. And yeah, if you could play baseball there in those confines against that kind of talent, you can come play at UNO.
Speaking of fields, UNO field has really experienced some great upgrades. Talk about the work that you've
Yeah,
done there.
absolutely. So Laura Rodrigue and Coach Ron Maestri fought hard to partner with local youth programs here in New Orleans to utilize our facilities at UNO. Got us $2 million in grant money to upgrade our facilities, house these youth kids who used to play at Nord more than likely and don't really have a place to play baseball and soccer and basketball and so forth. And so we upgraded our field. We got new LED lighting, state-of-the-art field turf, new foul poles, resurfaced the tennis courts, making upgrades all around campus to house these young kids. Also make it an attractive place to come to school and play baseball.
Yeah, and parking's easy too, I can say.
Parking's wide open, a lot of fields out there, a lot of open space. So yeah, let's try to fill that 2,500 people.
Yeah, we got to get some people out there for the season.
Yeah, I think we fill about 3,000 people in our stands, and so if we can get close to that, I think it's definitely doable with the amount of people who play travel ball here in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so prevalent nowadays. Come watch a cheap game at UNO. I think it's the cheapest daycare you could do as a parent. Just let your kids run around the green space for 3 hours, have a beer, and watch the game. So I think it's a win-win for everybody,
Yeah.
and we just need to make it happen.
So, you've played, you've been on the field. Collegiate sports are changing so much. What's it like being a general manager now?
Yeah, it's challenging, which is what I like. I went to Tulane Business School because I wanted to be in the front office of a major league team somewhere. And so, I got a great education there and able to utilize my business sense. And, I own real estate too. So, just my experience in the business world is kind of helped me in the landscape of college baseball nowadays with the NIL, situation and transfer portal and wheeling and dealing with sponsorships and, anything to take away the focus of our coaches is what I want to do so that they can just focus on making our players better. Yeah. And so any of the business sense is something that I want to focus on, raising money to support our equipment, operating budget, as well as paying players when they do well to keep them at UNO is my main priority.
Okay. Well, let's talk about playing. You were drafted in the second round?
Correct.
What was it like that first year? I know you went up against some pretty major pitchers.
Yeah, getting drafted in the second round was incredible. I never really expected it, but again, you play at UNO, the opportunities are endless. You get exposure, you play against the best talent in the nation. If you do well there, you can go play at the next level. But then getting drafted in the second round, I mean, just seeing your name flash across, it was over the computer back then, so it wasn't even on TV.
That's right.
And so we had a draft party on Canal Boulevard where, me and my roommates were staying and living in college, and that was phenomenal. And then getting called up in 2011 and facing some big-time pitchers, Rick Porcello, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, 2 Hall of Famers and all 3 Cy Young winners.
Right.
It's a grind, it's a challenge, but if you're a competitor and you want to prove that you're the best and you can be the best, you have to hit the best. And so it was fun to be a part of.
Can you stay in touch, or have you stayed in touch with some of these players that you?
I do.
With?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Eric Hosmer was in my wedding. When I first got drafted, the Royals were not very good at the major league level. They drafted phenomenal talent: Mike Moustakas, Danny Duffy, Mike Montgomery, Gerard Dyson. Salvador Perez, the list goes on. And we all blossomed throughout the minor leagues together. And when we got to the big leagues, we knew how to win, we knew how to play together. And that's why the Kansas City Royals won the World Series in 2015.
That's a memory that you probably relive over.
Absolutely.
And over again.
But the way that the Royals built their program is similar to what we're doing at UNO. It's a grassroots level, getting kids early, developing them, teaching them the culture and the right way to play the baseball game, and that's the kind of foundation that we want to build with our kids at UNO.
Yeah. Just recently, the Maestri Classic, and we had, of course, at Maestri Field.
Yep.
I want you to comment on Coach Ron Maestri in just a minute, but I want to talk about the Miracle League. Tell us about that.
New Orleans and Company actually was one of our big sponsors, hosted the entire event at UNO. And so they partnered with the Miracle League and Backyard Baseball to have the kids come over with disabilities and special needs to play the game that they love so much. And we had Alabama A&M and UNO both assist the kids while they were playing, wheel their wheelchairs and help them swing the bat and show them, how to play the game. And to do it at a college venue, the kids were ecstatic, and I think they'll never forget it.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. And again, hats off to New Orleans and Company for stepping up.
It was awesome, and hopefully we do it again next year.
Yeah, because I think they see the opportunity to draw people out to the lakefront, and big plans ahead with LSU New Orleans coming on board as the university transitions, and I know there are big plans for that.
Yeah, without question, we're able to bring in 3 other teams from other parts of the country. So when
regional traffic coming.
Yeah, so when they come in, they bring their parents, bring friends, bring family. Trips to New Orleans, they pay for hotels and food and whatnot. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Again, as we come to a close here, I'd like you to just briefly talk about Coach Ron Maestri. He's such a special guy.
Yeah, he's a legend at UNO. He took UNO to 2 World Series, I think 79 and 84 to Omaha, and for him to do that with a mid-major school like UNO is super impressive. He's a legend here in New Orleans, a godfather of baseball. He's my mentor. I see him every day. He talks to me about what needs to go on, how we need to do it. And so for him to still have the passion at UNO and to generate good things over there is we're forever indebted in what he's done. And I hope to, generate the same type of publicity and success that he has.
I think you're well on your way. Johnny, it's been great to have you, and would love to have you come back as we get into the season. We can talk about how the team is doing and bring Coach on with you as well. And
anytime, Mark.
Best wishes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
I am so happy to have as our featured guest the one and only Aarón Sánchez. Ladies and gentlemen, this is award-winning chef, TV personality, author, and philanthropist. And just spent a couple of weeks back with him at an event for the Emeril Lagasse Foundation, which he's associated with the Aarón Sánchez, Impact Fund. And it's great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Mark. You're one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. Of course, a board member and one of our fearless leaders and the mission of taking care of our youth, which is our most valuable commodity. So I appreciate all your endeavors and all you do as well. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Aarón. I deeply appreciate. Listen, we know you're out in Los Angeles right now filming. What projects are you doing out there, and how does it feel different than not being in the restaurant and kitchen, at least today?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing. Well, I have a production company called Cocina. So this year marks sort of the 23rd year of my first cookbook coming out called La Comida del Barrio. And basically, we're just taking this opportunity to kind of revisit some of those locations that I featured in the book, which is inner city Latin neighborhood restaurants, and to see how they've kind of progressed and how they're maturing, if you will, and also just seeing new stuff as well, and trying to get a good barometer on how people are cooking, or there's new restaurants, are they being traditional about things, and all of that. So, so I'm doing that, and then as far as not being in the kitchen, it's different, I love it. I've done it my whole life. I will continue to do it. But it's, for me, I use television and all the beautiful things we get to do as a marketing tool to get people into the restaurants. You know what I mean? So my job is to inspire. My job is to create the menus, work with the team. If I'm cooking every night at the restaurant, we have something wrong.
Well, even though you're out in LA, you're on the set out there. How does New Orleans food and the cuisine that you're used to preparing sneak its way into your daily life?
That's a great question. Well, there's not many days that I don't go talking about Paul Prudhomme or the rich and vibrant food culture that is New Orleans. We glorify our chefs like no other place in the country. You could be Tom Cruise walking down the street, we wouldn't care. But if you see Frank Brightson or somebody like that, or Emerald, be like, oh my gosh, Nina Compton or whatever. So it's just, it sort of influences my life. I love the fact that now I'm being associated with New Orleans. People know me from being there now. And, so that's one of the biggest things and treats I get, even though I spend my time in Walnut Creek area up here because I fell in love with Linda, who lives here. But I definitely do call New Orleans home as well.
Yeah. Is there a New Orleans dish that you think really tells the story of the city better than any other? You've mentioned some great chefs just now in the conversation, but any dish that comes to mind that says
Yeah.
this is New Orleans?
Yeah, I do a shrimp and grits, but Mexican style. So I actually take I call it ancho, like compound butter, rosemary, Worcestershire sauce, all of the familiar flavors that you would expect with barbecue shrimp, or that kind of deal, or shrimp and grits. But I do ancho chili peppers with anchovies. So it's an ancho butter, but like with all the flavors of barbecue shrimp. So it's Mexican barbecue shrimp in essence. And
Yeah, you just said that your cooking blends Mexican traditions with Creole and
it,
Southern
it,
influences, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's important, and I don't like the word fusion because I think it kind of creates confusion, but I think the idea of blending influences and it being rooted in a traditional dish, I think is cool.
Yeah, you know, speaking of preparing the dish, what's that one ingredient or flavor that instantly takes you back to New Orleans?
Oh, well, I mean, well, anything like, Chef Paul's magics, his seasonings, and he told me something very interesting and very prophetic. And he's from Opelousas. He was from Opelousas,
Yeah,
and
I'd like to know more about that background too when you have a moment.
yeah, yeah. So, one day I asked him. I said, Chef, what's up with the seasonings? And he said, well, when I was a kid in Opelousas, chicken was truly free range. It ate the sassafras that fell from the tree, which is the primary ingredient in filet powder, is sassafras. And a little bit of the satsuma peel and a little bit of the ground, so that the chicken actually tasted like where it's from. And then with mass produced, meats and stuff, it didn't taste like anything to him. So he was introducing flavor memories through the seasoning. Isn't that brilliant? Yeah. So, very, very profound man. He had a very lasting effect on my life and still does. So,
Yeah, I mean, tell us about those early days working alongside him.
well, yeah, because I lost my father when I was 13, so sadly, and I kind of, teenagers are already incorrigible as they are because we have a bunch of them at our house. But so, and I just reacted poorly, and I needed some structure and some discipline. And my mom kind of sent me down to Louisiana as a way of kind of like, intervention, if you will, culinary intervention. And I went down and I stayed with him for the first summer when I was 16. And then I went back when I was 18. So yeah, he got me in line. We went to work every day, 12-hour days. And I understood the value of what this industry is about.
And I relate that to what you're doing now with your impact fund. You're
Yeah.
having such an influence on this next generation of culinary specialists, let's call them that, as they want to get into it. So, I mean, that's got to be an impact that you are very proud of. Speak to that if you would.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
Yes,
moves
Mark.
you down that road?
Well, our youth, and this, Mark, Brother Nate, but our youth is our most valuable commodity. And if we don't set them up for success, then we're failing. And I think I wanted to give back to an industry that has allowed me and afforded me a beautiful life. And not in the ways you would think, but just, the connections with people like yourself and everybody that's lives have changed through food. And I wanted to make sure that this next generation understood the importance of that. And then also, putting themselves, on the back seat, having somebody else's needs be more important than their own. And I just think right now, sometimes our youth can get distracted. And I think kitchens are really good places to kind of focus and understand the important things in life. So there's multiple reasons. I started in 2017, very grassroots, just asking, friends, chefs, to put on events and try to generate some money. And then through that, my friendship with Chef Emerald and Alden and all of you beautiful people, I was so grateful and so appreciative that, I was kind of absorbed into the foundation, to the Emerald Lagasse Foundation, and it strives so much more. And I never think that we could have reached these heights.
Yeah, as it is, food is the universal language, and it has opened so many doors, and it's great to see how many doors you're opening for this generation. and to see their excitement when they're around you because they're just feeding off of you.
Yes,
use a
yes. And,
pun.
you know, I just had the pleasure of receiving an award in Washington, D.C. for an organization called Mentor. And they just, you know, when I got up there and just to receive the award, which I'm very grateful for, all the people at Mentor, thank you for recognizing the Emerald Lagasse Fund and the Aarón Sánchez Impact Fund. But the award had really nothing to do with me. It has to do with the kids. And the kids are the ones that, you know, the 29 that we've graduated and then the 6 that are in the program now. And we're doing interviews for the next batch. But, you know, for them to sacrifice 11 months out of their year, a lot of them living away from home, and just that kind of courage and that dedication that's the awards for them. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then, you know, so, you know, it's been very rewarding.
Well, we talk about the importance of nonprofit organizations and the work that they do. And the most important asset they have is the people who get involved. And you are mentoring the way for a lot of folks and role modeling how to get a nonprofit that's really making an impact. So thank you for what you do there.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mark.
Well, hey, we're all in this together, right? And I know
Absolutely.
how much Jennifer Killian and the whole team at the Emerald Lagasse Foundation loves working with you, and there's more great things to
Thank
come.
you.
I got to ask you, when you land back in New Orleans, and you'll be back here, you know, with Johnny Sanchez, the restaurant, and your other activities, tell me, what's the first place you want to eat when you get back here? Now, without Johnny Sanchez, now you can't say Johnny Sanchez because I know you're going to be there.
Yeah, of course. I love that's a great question, Mark. I mean, there's so many. It depends if I've been going to the gym a lot, because then that determines if I'm going to Mandina's or somewhere really rich.
You're going to have broiled fish or you're going to have fried fish, right? One or the other.
Exactly, one of the two. No, I mean, I love to go to Luke. I go to Luke's restaurant, to John's restaurant a lot, because I just think it has like that menu that you want to eat, everything on it. I love Compare La Pan, obviously. I love Pesh. Those are those kind of places because, you know, my mom said you have to have things on your menu that people that have to go eat. Like, have you had that over there? You know, and all those restaurants have that. Like, have you had the Fleming Kuchen at Luke, which is like a little German pizza? Have you had, you know, the pickle claws at Pesh, the pickle crab claws? You know, have you had the, you know, what Chef Nina makes over there with like these little curry little things? So you have to have that. So I crave those dishes as much as I crave the place.
Yeah, I think you just answered my next question. Is what's your go-to comfort food?
Oh man, well, if we talk in New Orleans, I'd have to be a po' boy. But I think I like parasols, and I know people are more, you know, akin the Domelices and all of that up a little bit further up. I like them too. Oh, I forgot to mention Clancy's. I love going to Clancy's because I used to live right around the corner from Clancy's uptown. That's my other favorite.
Your buddy Emerald's favorite place for a po' boy is Domelices, so you did mention that. You did mention that.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Now, you spoke about Chef Paul Prudhomme as having an influence, but is there another person who has influenced you that somebody may not know about?
Yeah. Well, I have met. You know, you can't just have one mentor. I feel like people should have many mentors. A chef that I really admire that I think is just amazing is a chef named Paul Kahn. He's in Chicago. He's like the best chef in Chicago, and the reason I really admire him a lot is because he's a good businessman. You know, you can be a great chef and super talented in the kitchen, but if you can't run a profitable business, then, you know, what's the point, right? So he does both super well. So I admire that about Chef Paul. Paul Kahn. Yeah, he's
Very
really
good.
amazing, and he has a great partner named Donnie.
Yeah, and you stay in touch with him on a regular basis.
Absolutely. I'm the annoying guy that calls everybody because now everyone gets lazy and just texts, you know? And I'm like, there's this great apparatus. It's called a phone that you can actually talk to people. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's probably something you can impart upon the next generation.
Exactly.
You can't. Two-way communication is where it all starts, right?
Yeah,
two-way,
man.
like what you and I are doing right now.
Absolutely. And, you know, and I think I love the importance of it. So I appreciate it a lot, Mark. Thank you.
What's one thing that New Orleans has taught you that you carry everywhere you go now?
New Orleans has taught me um, to not forget my roots, to appreciate everything that's happened. As far as if I didn't have New Orleans in my life earlier on, I probably wouldn't be the chef I am or the person I am today. So it's just a constant reminder of humility, tradition, beautiful melting pot, the gumbo that is New Orleans. So when you say New Orleans food, you can't say it's one thing. It could be Acadian, it could be more African
Right.
American
It's
or
the
whatever.
region.
Yeah,
Right.
it can mean a lot of different things. So I think that's where I really gather a lot of inspiration from as well.
Good. Well, with the remaining time, I'd like to go through some quick fire answers on our official New Orleans questionnaire. Are you ready for that?
Of course, yes, sir.
All right. Now, you mentioned po' boy as something that you like, but what is the best po' boy? What's on that po' boy for you?
Well, just because I'm kind of boring. I mean, I know, Parkway has the roast beef and I get all of that. But, for me, because we are in Louisiana and we have the best shrimp and crab meat in the world, I always go with a simple, creamy, I'm crispy shrimp po' boy with like a remoulade sauce all day long.
Fully dressed, huh?
Yeah, fully dressed, baby, all the time.
All right. Okay, here's one. You have an opportunity to see one New Orleans musical artist, whether they're with us now or they passed on, in concert. Who would it be and where would you see that person?
Oh, oof. So tough one. I'm a trombone shorty fan, and to see him at the fairgrounds, there's nothing like it.
Yeah,
'Cause,
closing out on the fairgrounds at the Jazz Fest, huh?
exactly. And when he comes out there, it's like the whole city erupts. The whole place erupts. So yeah, a little trombone would be great.
That's great. What's your favorite New Orleans smell?
Well, how about Bourbon Street in the morning? No, I'm just joking. No, not really.
That could be the least favorite too.
That's exactly. No, I'm just joking. No,
That's all right.
my favorite smell would have to be just like blackened fish, and spices and things being seared. I feel like the city smells like seasoning or
Yeah,
beignets. Or if
I
you walk
figure you
down Decatur, you know what I mean.
picked
You
up
can
that
smell.
smell back over at Cape Paul's one day, huh?
Oh man,
That's great.
remembering.
All right, here's one. Mardi Gras or Jazz Fest?
Oh, jazz fest,
All
100%.
right.
I mean, because that's when the locals really roll out. I mean, yes, we go out and we ride and do all of that, but there's nothing like Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
You know,
If you had to build your own Mount Rushmore for the restaurant industry here, who would be on that? Just, I know there could probably be many, but give us the top three or four.
Emerald, of course, Chef Paul. Um, well, I'm trying to think. Susan Spicer,
Uh-huh.
for sure. Um, Frank Brightson, and then give me one more that I think would just like,
Anybody
well,
Creole or
maybe like the late great Jamie Shannon. I mean, from Commanders, I thought he was on the Rushmore for me personally. Who else would I put up there? Well, I would put Besh up there as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about contributions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great cooks, but then there's chefs that have multiple restaurants that have been
Yeah.
employing people for a long time, and I
Yeah,
think that's kind of also.
I might see Leah Chase up there.
Oh, Leah Chase, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how I could forget Miss Leah. Oh my gosh,
No,
I'm sorry.
she'd be up there, and this mountain could be this. I mean, huge,
Exactly.
huge mountain. All right, let's go to gumbo. Chicken or seafood?
Seafood, 100%.
All right, seafood. Favorite New Orleans movie or TV series?
Well, I love True Detective.
Ah,
When
very good.
well, it was in New Orleans, but it was also, and I love the new one, Your Honor, the one
that
that
was
just
good.
came out.
Yeah,
That was
Brian.
really good. Me and my
Yes.
wife watched that, and he did such a great job, and the city was so prevalently featured. You know what I mean?
It was
And just
neighborhoods all.
yep,
Yes,
it was really good, really well
excellent.
done.
You worked in the Quarter. What's
Yep.
your earliest memory of visiting the Quarter?
Well, I remember because There, right next to the restaurant, there was a store called Bouquet next to Cape Paul's, and we used to get paid every second Friday. And I just remember that Friday afternoon when we got paid, everyone beelined over to Bouquet, and they used to cash our checks there. So and then everybody would have a couple drinks, and then we go back to work. Very New Orleans. You know what I mean?
That's
Very New
good.
Orleans.
Yeah.
So and then I also remember there used to be this cool kind of little club called Lucky Pierre's
Oh,
on
yeah.
Burbank. Yeah. So I remember going there after work with some of the guys.
I
And
remember that one as well.
yeah,
That was
Lucky Pierre. That's a
fantastic.
long time ago, man.
On Bourbon Street. Yes, sir.
Yeah, on
I
Burbank, on the way
remember that.
down, all the way down. Yeah.
Dead or alive, who's the one person you'd like to take to lunch, and where would you take them?
I would love to take either Muhammad Ali would probably be my first choice, but he wouldn't be a lot of fun because I don't think he drank. Oh no, he would be. No, he'd be great. Obviously, I'm joking, but
I know you are.
someone like him, you know. Oof. And then, well, let me tell you what. I would take him to Galatoire's for lunch on Friday.
Very good.
Friday lunch at Galatoire's.
Y'all would never get out. You'd be there from like 11:30 till maybe 6.
Exactly. Yeah, I could see him having a milk punch or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Some
Well,
fun.
Great conversationalist, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's the one New Orleans food item that you cannot live without?
Cannot live without. Believe it or not, probably either andouille or tasso, because those are so particular to New Orleans. You won't find it anywhere else.
All right. Here's one. You've been away for a long time. You fly back into the airport. You're going to get into an Uber and you're going to go have a drink somewhere. What are you going to drink and where are you going to go?
Well, there's two. I'm gonna go to the Napoleon House probably and have a Pim's Cup
Okay.
or a Sazerac, or I'll go to the Monteleone and have like a French 75 or something at the Carousel Bar.
Just
something
ride
like
the
that.
carousel around and around and around.
Exactly. Yeah. And then for late night drinks, I like to go to Bartonique on Rampart. That's a good one too. Because it's like real local, and that's where all the locals
An
go
award
after
winner
work.
as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Aarón, tell me in 5 words or less, why do you love New Orleans?
First of all, what first down. Sorry. Saints. So the New Orleans Saints, obviously. I mean, I bleed black and gold. I have a 68 Chevelle that's gold and black. No shit. And the 5 words, I just think I think the laissez-faire in a good way. I think the history, obviously. I think it's multicultural identity, and then I love its architecture.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, like most cities will be lucky if they have one restaurant that's 100 years old. We have like 8 that are 200 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and they're still functioning. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can't make this stuff up. So it's just that kind of commitment to our industry. It's just something beautiful and magical.
Yeah.
And I was I mean, I was talking to John Betch's, father-in-law, and he was telling me that when because he went to Jesuit and his kids went there, they said that they would get like 20,000 people to a high school game. And you had to pay a nickel to get in there. Could you imagine? Like, this is like in the 60s, or 50, So it just, that kind of dedication that New Orleans have for their city is indisputable.
Yeah, the love and the passion that you find in this community is overwhelming sometimes.
Oh man. I mean, and also it's adversity. I forgot to throw that out there. I mean, we just can't cut your break, man. Whether it's a hurricane, a flooding, the damn lights going off at the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm like, come on, man.
But we get back up and we get back on the bicycle.
Out, bro. Help us out. Let's catch a break once in a while.
I know. We're practiced at that. We're practiced at that. Well, listen, we deeply appreciate your time. We want to thank you for what you're doing, for what you have done, and what I know you're going to do in the future as you continue to inspire so many people and bring so much enthusiasm to everything you touch. We deeply appreciate you so much.
Well, let me sing your praises too, Mark. It's very seldom that I know your dad did what you do or did, and the fact that you have stayed so true, and you're the voice of a city. You know how important that is, and if I'm, because I'm out here in California. I'm the most obnoxious Saint fan because I'll come out. I have scarves, I have jerseys, I have hoodies and shit. I have socks, and then I go out there and I'm the only Saint fan at the bar. But when I hear your voice, it just makes me feel like home. So just so
Thank
you
you.
know, okay, my brother, because that's important because you're triggering emotion just by your voice and your narrative.
Thank
So
you
just so
for
you know,
that.
okay.
Well, we honor our ancestors, and in this way, I get to honor my dad in many ways.
Yes, of course. I know it, man, and you're such a great representation. So I just want you to know that, Mr.
Appreciate
Mark.
that.
Okay.
Thank you, Aarón. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
that.
having me, man. I
All
appreciate you
right.
guys.
Thank
Anything
you.
else you need, you can always call on me. Okay.
I will do that, and
No,
thank you, and thank Jennifer for helping get our
no
schedule.
big deal. I'll do it anytime. All right.
All right. Be good. Love you, man.
Love you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
This week in New Orleans.
All right, a lot going on in New Orleans this week, and there's only one person to tell us what's happening with This Week in New Orleans, April Dupree. April, what's happening?
Thanks so much, Mark. As always, there's lots to do this week. As Black History Month comes to a close, there is no better place to experience the live culture, history, and of course, the flavor of the city than right here in New Orleans. Let's start at the table. Dookie Chase's restaurant is not just a place to eat, it's a landmark of civil rights history and Creole cuisine. Just down the road, the Munch Factory serves Creole favorites with big flavor and even bigger heart from Chef Jordan and Alexis Ruiz. Lil Dizzy's Cafe continues a family legacy nearly 75 years strong, serving classic New Orleans comfort food from the soul. In the French Quarter, Benachin brings Cameroonian and Gambian flavors to the city with dishes like jollof rice and fufu. For a truly special night out, Dakar Nola offers a beautiful Senegalese dinner experience from Chef Serene Mbaye, served family style. And don't miss Lang Yap Bakehouse in Central City. It's part coffee shop, part art space, and all delicious. At Baldwin & Co., coffee, books, and community come together in one beautiful space. At Jewel of the South, try the Jewel Sazerac, a true love letter to a New Orleans classic. Baroness on Baronne serves beautiful cocktails like the Little Boy Blue, while Chapter 4 honors the legacy of Chef Leah Chase with the classic cocktail Leah's Garden. For a lively night out, Whiskey and Sticks offers cigars, whiskey, and a back patio made for good times. You can also find great drinks at Justini Cocktails, the Dewdrop Inn, Blue Crawfish Hotel, and Headquarters by Nice Guys NOLA. To experience Black history in New Orleans, start with the Louisiana Civil Rights Museum or take a guided experience with All About That Tours or Tours by Judy. Visit the New Orleans African American Museum, the McKenna Museum of African American Art, or Les Musées des FPC. Then, for something truly powerful, visit Studio B, Brandon B. Mike Odom's massive art installation exploring Black identity through visual storytelling. You can also visit the Homicide Research Center on Tulane's campus or the TEP Center in the Lower Ninth Ward to learn more about civil rights history in New Orleans. And to understand the culture that just paraded on our streets during carnival season, stop by the Backstreet Cultural Museum or the House of Dance and Feathers to learn more about Mardi Gras Indian traditions. And now, a couple of events happening around town this week. On Friday, Phil Rosenthal, host of Somebody Feed Phil, will appear at the Orpheum Theater for a conversation and audience Q&A. And on Saturday, Monster Jam returns to the Caesars Superdome with high energy, family-friendly fun. For more information on where to eat, drink, and play this week in New Orleans, visit neworleans.com. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, April. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we like to end each of our shows with something positive about New Orleans. So here's Positively New Orleans. This July, the University of New Orleans will turn another page in its story, but not its soul. For some background first. Originally a branch of LSU called Louisiana State University in New Orleans, when classes began in September of 1958, it marked the first racially integrated public university in the South. It started with a freshman class of 1,460 students, which was double what had been expected. By 1962, it had held its first commencement under the leadership of Chancellor Homer L. Hitt. And in 1974, the LSU Board of Supervisors approved a name change to the University of New Orleans, or UNO. In effect, a metropolitan campus of the LSU system. And for the last several years, it has been a member of the University of Louisiana system. And now UNO is coming back home to LSU. For almost 70 years, the University of New Orleans has been more than a campus on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. It has been a promise for that first-generation student from Gentilly, the working parent from the West Bank, the veteran rebuilding a life, and the young dreamer from across the globe who could find opportunities here in New Orleans. And as a public research university, UNO has never just awarded degrees. It has fueled innovation, powered our workforce, and strengthened the cultural and economic heartbeat of this city and region. And it even gave birth to the world-renowned National World War II Museum. In the years after Hurricane Katrina, when so much felt uncertain, UNO stood firm. Its engineers helped reimagine our infrastructure. Its scientists advanced coastal research when our wetlands were vanishing. Its business leaders trained entrepreneurs who now anchor our neighborhoods. Its artists, writers, and musicians carried forward the creative spirit that makes New Orleans unmistakably New Orleans. And now, as it transitions into the LSU system and becomes LSU New Orleans, this is not an ending. It's an expansion of possibility. Why am I so excited about this next chapter? Because becoming LSU New Orleans means greater resources, broader research, collaborations, and LSU's stronger national platform, while remaining rooted in the community that built it. It means our students can access the power of a statewide system without ever leaving the city they love. It means our research on climate resilience, cybersecurity, healthcare, and coastal restoration can scale higher and travel farther. What will make LSU New Orleans special is not necessarily a logo or a system, though the privateer does look good wearing that purple and gold. Let's face it, it's the people. More than 80,000 alumni and committed faculty and staff. It's grit, it's accessibility, it's unwavering belief that public higher education can change lives. LSU New Orleans will now carry forward UNO's legacy of inclusion, of opportunity, of innovation that serves the public good. It will remain a university of this city and for this city. Because when we invest in a public research university in New Orleans, we are investing in the future of New Orleans itself. And so on July 1, we do not say goodbye. We say, let the next chapter begin. And that's positively New Orleans.
And that's a wrap. Special thanks to our sponsors, Blue Runner Foods, Crystal Hot Sauce, New Orleans & Company, our friends at Visit the North Shore, and their podcast, All the Waves. Go check it out. We'll see you next week.